Welcome to the Concrete Genius Podcast. I'm your host, the Concrete Genius, Sauce McKenzie, the man with the $1 million smile, man. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. It's been a beautiful couple of weeks, man. I know y'all ain't saw me solo in a minute, I think since the Drake podcast, but I just been chilling. Had to go to the doctor, the dentist. You know, I've been off work, so I had to take care of a lot of appointments as you become a little older. You got to check on yourself, check on your health. You know what I mean? I got these pearly shined up, nice and white for you. And yes, these are mine. Ain't no veneers or none of that. This is all real. You know what I mean? The smile is all real. Thank you for taking the time to listen, man. It's been a lot going on. You know, NBA is coming. I got the NBA preview I just put out today with B. Crawford. That's a dope interview. For me personally, you know, I'm just rooting for certain players. I am in the NBA portal now. I can go and cover certain games. Media plug, and I can also move around. I'm looking forward to the season. You know, it gets a little dry for me without basketball. I'm looking forward to the NBA season. I'm also looking forward to the college season. Not really certain universities, but my son, he's in a certain situation now where he's going to be playing. He's going to get a chance to play. His confidence is where it needs to be. He's got that ball, so it's on him. I'm always a big believer as far as stressing confidence and positivity in my son. You know, I got a saying that God gave you a strong father because you was born with a lot of responsibility. So you got to handle it. You a king. You was born with gifts. So sometimes when you born with gifts, people try to knock you off your gift because they see it before you do. And the key is just perseverance. If you persevere, you can get to where you need to be. It was probably a time in my life several years ago where people probably saw me and thought like, damn, he messed up. But I persevered and I persevered. Now I'm a family man, homeowner, businessman, and just a great all-around citizen. So it's not where you are, it's about your ability to get up off the mat every day and build every day. And that's just what I do. So I'm very positive, man. I'm in a great mood. Just interviewed, you know, my best friend's son. He's like my nephew, 16-year-old with a brilliant mind, got his own clothing line already. So it's about real positive energy. School starts back next week. I am coaching middle school, so I get a chance to dip my toes in that water, show my craft. Coaching is everything to me, you know. Coaching is the one place where nobody can stop my brilliance. You know what I mean? Like, you know, outside of my home and my friends, but like when I'm on that basketball court, you have no choice but to recognize my genius because I feel like I can teach some kids and in a matter of time, they're going to be better than anything what you can show them. And so that right there, it intimidates a lot of people. You know, I understand some people are kind of thrown off by a confident black man, you know, that's very articulate, that's very secure in what he does and what he's doing. But that's really not my problem. Like, your insecurities aren't my problem at all. So I look forward to coaching. I am coaching girls this year, which will be fun, especially at a young age, because I'm really all about development. I love teaching. I love showing people things from step A to step B to step C, and I love seeing it come together. You know what I mean? And then I'm also a believer in everybody deserves a chance. So when everybody deserves a chance, you know, you really get to shine and like, you know, the real coaches get to stay afloat. Like, that's how I've been able to survive in this game for so long, because my coaching style and my survival skills are organic. It's all in my brain. So whenever sometimes things don't go my way as far as relationships or businesses, so sometimes I feel like people trying to hold the door or not allow me to eat, you know, I just go somewhere else and plant another garden, and it hasn't been able to stop me. And whatever garden I plant, it becomes always more fruitful than the place I was trying to eat at anyway. So that right there is a blessing too. Las Vegas Aces, my Las Vegas Aces. Shout out to 702 Clark County. Asia Wilson, them girls. Jackie Young, Indiana homegrown, Princeton, Indiana. I'm glad y'all beat New York. I'm glad y'all won it in a row. You know, Las Vegas is basically my adopted hometown, second hometown. I love it. I love the people. You know, eventually I'm moving there. So to see the Aces win back-to-back, you know, that's such a passionate sports town. I'm all in. I wish I could be at the parade, but obviously I can't be. I got a lot going on here that I have to soil, but the Aces really perked my interest in the WNBA and in girls basketball as they started winning. That was when I coached my first year at Lawrence Central last year. And so, you know, it all kind of correlated, and I just started learning more of the players, started really diving into more girls basketball. Right now I follow a lot of female basketball coaches. I correspond with a lot of them. So I'm not never giving up on the boys. I'm still assisting with Warren Central boys. I'm never giving up on the boys, but the girls is like, it's just a new avenue for me, and it allows me to teach and reach and get myself out there to some people that want to absorb the game. And it's just a blessing, you know. Teaching is something that I don't take for granted. You know, life is short. People are here today, gone tomorrow, so. And I haven't always lived a perfect life. You know what I'm saying? I haven't always made the best decisions. I haven't always, you know, treated people well. You know what I'm saying? Like, even people close to me, like I'm an Aries, man. I'm stubborn. I got a bad temper. So sometimes I'm not the most easiest person to deal with, and I recognize that. You know, when you stubborn and you stand on your square, it may seem easy, but you get tormented by that too. You know what I mean? You get tormented by the fact, like, have I been too hard in situations? Have I been too unforgiving in situations, too unforgiving on people? And that's just realistic conversation. I think everybody deals with something when they sleep at night. I don't care how successful you are. Money doesn't buy the ability to buy back time, maybe whatever you felt you've done wrong. So prayer is essential and giving back is essential. And I think that's why I give back, to balance some of my wrongs. You know what I mean? Some of my things in life that I wish I could have did better, I give back a lot. You know what I mean? I live with a heavy heart for several reasons. You know, I miss my mom, miss my sisters. You know, certain relationships I wish would have went different. So I always try to bring joy to situations, and to me, there's no other way to bring joy than to give people an opportunity to play basketball that wouldn't have it without me. You know, so that's kind of my story. Like, you know, I'm very transparent. You know, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I do have shortcomings. I've had shortcomings, and I might have one tomorrow. I may have one when I walk upstairs, but you know, the way I treat my family, the way I protect, the way I provide, the way I inspire my friends, the way I bring a smile to somebody's face, the way I teach, the way I care, the way I try to be a great friend, you know, great father, great husband, great everything. And it'll spread you thin, but it's great balance. You know, like I said, you have to leave your imprint on this earth. And how are you going to leave it? You know, are you going to leave it with neglect, or are you going to leave it, you know, with bringing joy to people? And you always want people to see you the best version of you, if you can help it. If you can't be the best version of you around somebody, you got to get away from them. This episode is being brought to you by ContendersClothing.com. You see the hoodie. This is Phil Hellmuth, the poker player, legendary poker player. Get a look at this hoodie. You know, you can shop ContendersClothing.com. Use the code WeDon'tMiss20 for discounts, special discounts, man. Special links to special gear. Featuring Sauce McKenzie. Also follow me on all socials. We got Concrete Genius Media on Facebook. We got Concrete Genius Pod on Instagram. We got Concrete Genius Podcast on TikTok. We got Concrete Genius Pod on YouTube. Had a brain freeze. And we got Concrete Genius 6 on Twitter. You know, follow me, man. What's in the news? First of all, this gambling thing is getting out of control, man. Last year, I was at like 88%, especially on single games. Parlays was about 48, 47%. But my single game predictions were so on fire last year. This year, man, I'm like that dude in the Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence movie Life. I just can't get right. I hit a couple. I don't know if I'm talking to too many people. I got too many outside resources, but I'm just not really hitting it like I'm supposed to hit it. Like even last night, it was a layup and I blew it. So I really been scaling down on my betting because the worst thing you can do as a gambler is chase your money. So sometimes you got to scale back, reassess, and then grind back up. I mean, my percentages ain't bad, but it's just like, damn. Then you watching the game and you see it breaking down right in front of your face. You seeing Travis Etienne get 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. You like, oh my God, there go the under. Even if you buy the under up, there go the under. So it's just like, I probably got to get Vegas to get my mojo back, get on the crap tables, get a little blackjack in, get down on Fremont, man, get my gambling in. I don't gamble in Indiana. I don't like the casinos because they let people smoke in there. I hate that cigarette smoke. It's just not my environment. You know what I'm saying? My relationship with Indiana is different. I deal with the trenches. I deal with a lot of the ex-hustlers. I deal with the kids that want to teach from me, my basketball kids. And I have certain groups of friends, my OGs, and I hang out with. But other than that, I don't really go out much. I'd rather spend that time chilling at the crib. I got a nice crib. My OGs call me over. They got nice cribs. I chill like that. And then when I want to party, I just get on the road. It's like when you get to a certain age, it's like it's only so much partying you could do. Like, God afforded me the luxury to get on the planes. I get on the planes. But this gambling thing is just, they make it so accessible for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, excuse me, you got boost and you got parlay boost and no sweat bets and 50% boost if you bet on an in-play, USC. Like, man, they put that shit there for you to get addictive, and then they throw that 1-800 number on there knowing you're not going to call it. So it's on you to manage in your head like, okay, bam, I done lost this amount of games. Man, like last year I would get on there and flip. I bet 50, then I bet 95, then I bet the 180, and then I had 300 at the end of the day. I redraw 250, then I do the same thing next Sunday. I go Saturday, Sunday. I went like 250, 250 every weekend. This weekend it ain't been working like that. And it's not as fun when you're not winning. To be honest with you, you start wondering like, man, can I just watch the game in peace? So all that's strategic. I don't like talking about politics, but I pray this country gets itself together. I don't want this country to be at World War III. We don't have the infrastructure to fight World War III. I'm not going to talk about Israel, not going to talk about Palestine. It's much more educated people to talk about that. I just pray for peace. I pray we can send some of that money we send to other countries, be it Ukraine, be it anywhere. I wish we could do some of that for the homeless population. I wish we could put some of that in education. I wish we could pay our teachers more, our police officers more, our firemen more. I wish we could pay our nurses more, our social workers, our daycare workers, our medical, our therapists, our guidance counselors. I wish we could pay them more. And I think that would be more productive in society. I wish we could upgrade equipment at a lot of these schools with some of these billions we throw around. And my question is, who's going to answer for all that debt? Now, like I said, somebody smarter than me is going to be able to give you that answer, but you just got to pray, man. It's like watching the news can really be depressing. You know what I mean? Like, so you have to pray. You got to trust God to keep us all covered, keep everything positive, and just go from there. Watching the Indiana news can just be super depressing, super weird. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even get into that. But as far as like World War III, you just got to, you got to hope this conflict gets resolved before things go to a nature where, they start having to try to draft people because the military numbers are low. The economy's already in shambles. It start affecting the economy worse. And, you know, I just pray things get on track. And another thing about, like, I want people to understand that, like, you got to have a chunk of happiness that's not on social media. You know what I mean? I think the reason why I enjoy the West Coast so much because I think it's so much to do that people don't really live on social media. They might get on there for a minute, pump their business, they get off. That's kind of how I use it. If you notice, I may talk a little shit, but I think when you live in smaller states or states that's fighting for recognition on a big scale, a lot of your ego and your chest thumping comes from social media. And I think that happens a lot in Indiana. So a lot of people sometimes get caught up in the competition of it, but it's not a fair competition because you don't know what that person's going through and you basing your happiness off what the image they giving you. And that's wrong. You know, and I made a status and I said, if you really happy in real life, you're not in competition with nobody. I mean, me, I ain't in competition with nobody, baby. I'm just living. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to do my thing and inspire the youth, get to this money and get into this public speaking, you know, continue these podcasts, continue these amazing interviews. Oh, I got the CEO of Black Sports Online coming up next Tuesday. So if you want to get some of that, that will be available for you too also. Do these amazing interviews and just touch people in a way they haven't been touched before. I don't want to compete with nobody. Like I was saying in a barbershop today, shout out to the shop, man. My brothers at the shop. Was it Trail, Indianapolis, Indiana? Shout out to my brothers at the shop, man. I got to bleep that. I don't know where I go. But yeah, shout out to my brothers at the shop, man. We winning. You know, we doing what we got to do. We chasing money. And I was just telling my brothers, I'm like, yo, at some age, right, what do you seem like at 40 years old, right, arguing with somebody on your phone? Like, how miserable do you have to be in life, right, to argue with somebody on your phone? Like, nah, dead ass. Like, for you to say, man, you know what? Back and forth. Like, me, people come at me with ruckus, and I've always been like that. Like, because I've been at the depths of going there. I know what it feels like to lose your mind and suffer the consequences. I know what it feels like to snap and suffer the consequences. And most people haven't suffered the consequences. So that's why people who've been in trouble, like serious trouble, they're a lot more calmer than the people who haven't. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I've been in real trouble. I've been in real cells with real bars on them. So I don't allow people to really get me mad. We could talk some shit, but if I feel like it's personal, I never have to talk to you again in life because my life is amazing. So like when people let social media get them all riled up, it really makes me question their intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on in your personal life that you got to jump on somebody's post and argue every day? You got to be lonely. That mattress got to be cold on the other side. Because ain't no way you laying up with a warm-ass woman and you argue, you screaming in the phone. Man, you crazy as hell. Ain't no way you loved, you know what I'm saying, you somebody kid and you arguing in the phone. No. I ain't never been like that. Like, to me, a real man's going to avoid all confrontation at all costs unless it's absolutely necessary. Because once you get involved in an altercation, ain't no bringing it back. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to think with your brain, bro. You got to think strategically. It's chess out here. You got kids, you got money, you got businesses. You can't let no dust mite like throw you off your square. I learned that growing up in the hood, in the trenches. It's always going to be some weirdo popping crazy. You got to ignore that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? You riding by a nice car, nigga talking shit. Nigga mad because no, bro, you got to ignore that. You got to keep moving. You got to always like think about your life more valuable than his. Because if somebody don't respect you, they already don't even respect themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, especially if it's just verbal. They just trying to get you because you got a light. Like you got a light that can't be dim. You know, I always tell a story like I used to come out on the block. You know, my clothes used to be a little, wasn't fit right. I was probably about 11. You know, I wasn't maximizing my fly yet. And then the older niggas with the mopeds, they be cracking jokes on me. And I ain't even understand. I'm like, man, I'm just a little nigga up here juking Pac-Man. You know what I'm saying? Playing Pac-Man, playing Centipede. Niggas messing with me. And then it hit me. You know, my sister, the older girls told me, they like, nah, you got something they ain't got. They know you coming. And they know when you clean up and you get right, they ain't gonna be able to mess with you. You know, you funny, you handsome, you got pretty teeth. The girls be laughing at your jokes. You just ain't put it together. And I was 11. So that time I was 12, I was already doing push-ups. I was ironing my clothes, bleaching my clothes, making designer jackets and cutting the sleeves out my shirt. You know what I mean? Like, I already knew, like, I had something you didn't have, so I ran with it. Like, so I learned early, even with older dudes, the opinion of others never mattered. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know what you are, nobody can tell you what you are. And that's what you got to remember. And before I go, I want to talk about this DJ Envy situation, man. I've been a fan of DJ Envy for a long time, man. You know, our sons are the same age. One of our sons, whichever one of his sons, like a sophomore in college. We actually played against him in the AAU tournament in New Jersey, Atlantic City one time. He was playing for Coach Benz, I believe. I think it was like 5th grade, 6th grade or something. You know, I don't know the man personally, but I do know he takes pride in being a father. You know, he takes pride in trying to help people. I hope he just trusted somebody that's kind of in a bad situation. You know, I know the jokes are funny, but like me, I don't wish to join on no man. You know what I'm saying? Unless you like a pedophile or something, I wish death on you. But like, it is funny. The memes are funny. You know, I done put some tweets out and things are funny, but man, you know, especially in your 30s and 40s and you got kids, motherfuckers start talking about jail. Jail is a young man's game. It's a no man's game. But if you do go, it's a young man's game, bro. Going to jail 36, 37, 40, 42, that's bad business, man. That's impossible business. I be reading about indictments, niggas be 51, 53, 47, 10, 12 years, bro. You checking out, bro. That's hell. Nah, man. So with DJ Envy, man, with the scam, you know, I ain't gonna speak on the other dude. Fat nigga, he looked a little shady to me the whole time. You know, I just think he played Envy. You know what I'm saying? I think he played Envy to co-sign, follow along with what he had going. And I think that kind of led Envy down a straight path, man. I think the Breakfast Club, as we know it, might be delayed. It was already not the same when Yee left, but I'm a big Jess Hilarious fan. I thought Jess Hilarious brought amazing flavor to it. I'm a big Tesla Figaro fan, so I thought she brought amazing personality giving out the news. But I just don't know if Envy can survive this, man. You know, I don't think he's going to prison, but I think it will affect his career. You know, hopefully, I think hope the brother gets established with his family, man. We need black men home with their families. You know what I'm saying? His kids need their family. You know, his kids need their father. So now I don't. Like I said, the jokes is cool, they funny, but I don't wish prison on a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if it's something to help you get your life together, then cool. But even then, I pray you can get it together without it. You know what I mean? No man should have to sit in them cages. It's inhumane, and it also affects your brain in ways that your brain's never the same. Your mentality's never the same. Your thought process is never the same. And too many of our black brothers have to go through that prison trial and tribulation, you know, to try to navigate life afterwards. And that's not easy either. So I don't wish prison on nobody, especially no nigga in his 40s, 50s. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep your head up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of things that's kind of mainstream, I get my jokes off on certain people. But if you notice, some stuff I don't mention because I'm really, like when I move around, I really move around. I'm 6'5", I'm 290. I'm impossible to miss. So I'm a dude, like, I don't really be talking shit. Like if you notice, I crack some jokes, but I don't really talk because I go where I want to go. And I carry myself in a way respectfully that, you know, I ain't ducking nothing. I'm a grown ass man, but I'm also never gonna say nothing to where a dude, all the dude's gonna say is be like, oh man, you know, that's the podcast dude. I seen him. You know, I seen this dude face before. I done seen him Twitter. I done seen that logo somewhere. Cause I got a national footprint, so I'm very responsible with what I say, but I do hope, you know, things work out for that man, you know. And I do hope the victims, you know, getting scammed ain't fun. Getting scammed, getting your crib broken into, none of that ain't fun. Like losing money, trusting somebody, ain't none of that fun. So I don't want to seem like I'm not being compassionate to the victims because I am. Like that's very tragic what you had to go through. But I also I don't think from what I've been watching, even in the beginning, it sounded like a fraud when they was hosting them seminars and stuff. But I think Envy went along for the ride. Like, I don't think he was like the main dude putting it together. If he was, and I'm wrong, then I'll come back and say it. But like, I just hate to see a man. I know how he values his family. You know, we do take risks. We take unnecessary risks. But the older you get, the less risk you got to start taking, Playboy, I'm telling you. Because one thing about America, man, if you playing games, they're going to catch up with your ass. So, and they want what's theirs. And once you start scamming, once you commit any type of crime against Caucasian people, you done raise the stakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't care if you finessing it. I don't care if you tricking them. I don't care if you robbing them. I don't care if you stealing from them. If you black in America and your victim is white, you gonna get it a little different. You know what I'm saying? So once I start seeing all them white faces complain about how they been scammed by Caesar and they wouldn't know, I only would have did this if DJ Envy hadn't recommended them. And having that man on the Breakfast Club was a bad look, you know? But again, life comes full circle. I think certain people deserve second chances, you know. Hopefully that man gets to make his penance and things will work out, man. ConcreteGeniusMedia.com, man. Your source of information, the real podcast, real game. It's a lot of good podcasts out there. I don't have time to mention a lot of them, but for everybody that shares my stuff, I appreciate you. You know, I try to share a lot of stuff. I see, Jada Pickett. I don't really got no beef with Jada Pickett, man. You know, she speaking her truth. You know, at first I cracked a lot of jokes, but it's obvious Tupac meant a lot to her. Their friendship was real deep. You know, if something had ever happened to me, I like for my friends to ride for me like that. So I'm actually kind of respecting her for, you know, trying to get to the bottom of who murdered her friend. Like, I'm a big Tupac fan. Tupac's my favorite artist. Tupac, Ice Cube, 1A, 1B. Favorite artist of all time. And, you know, I don't really got the jokes as much no more. Once I started listening, I started analyzing. You know, I started listening to the sensitivity in her message. You know, as far as the marriage part, I'm not going to discuss that. But as far as like her wanting justice for Tupac, I support that totally. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to get to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? I let the people who handle things like that handle it. But yeah, you know, sometimes we got to give black women space to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't easy. It's your natural inclination to be like, man, shut up. But like, shit, you know, same way a man want to get on the mic and voice his frustrations or voice his opinions or tell his stories. We get men on here telling war stories every day that's totally unnecessary. So me being a black man, I'm not going to knock a black woman for telling her truth. If her husband supported, who am I to say something negative about her? That's her shoes and she got to walk in them. And I respect it. You know what I mean? I think that's it for today. We'll be back in tomorrow. I got to start working on these picks for Saturday. Pray for me. Follow me on all socials, man. Concrete Genius Podcast on TikTok, Concrete Genius Pod on YouTube. Concrete Genius Pod. Yeah, Concrete Genius Pod on YouTube and Instagram, Concrete Genius Media on Facebook. Follow me, engage with me, listen to me. I'm a vessel to get you to where you need to be. Sauce McKenzie. See you later. Thank you, man. ConcreteGeniusMedia.com. I love y'all. God bless. WeDon'tMiss.org. God bless. Peace.